everybody, this is Sherry with CPR, Craft, Pray, Repeat. And I've got a video for you sharing a few tags that I've made. And at the end I do a tutorial showing you how I put together one of the die cut pieces that I used here. I'm going to start by sharing with you the die that I used. And I used this one right here. It's called Christmas Keys by Cottage Cuts. It's one of their new releases. As a matter of fact, right now they have it 25% off, I believe. Or at least they did when I taped this. And I will be putting it up this weekend, so I'm sure they'll be having Black Friday sales. So, you know, you can go and check those out. But I'll definitely put a link for them. They are my favorite die company. I have more dies from them than I do anybody else. I absolutely love that she puts so much detail into these dies. That it's just incredible. I love it. So this is what I used. And I'll be back in 1 second to share my tags with you. This is my first tag. I just used one of the tag dies that I have in my stash. You use whatever tag die you have. I did use, I forgot to share with you, this Keep It Simple To and From Paper Tray Ink. They do not carry this anymore, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm looking for another To and From stamp set that I can share with you, but I've not found one yet. And I'm really happy with that one. I wish they were continuing it. But I used it for my To and From. Here's my little deer key. I used a glaze pen, a clear glaze pen on his nose, a glitter gel pen on the little berries there for the holly. I absolutely love how it turned out. I inked everything up with my Distress inks, and I'm loving him. He's so cute. I was hoping that the die would have at least a solid piece for this portion of the key, so that I could leave it hanging and it would swing like a key if I attached a key. But it's not one solid piece. And you'll see that in the tutorial. Excuse me, guys. I got a cough drop and I still got a cough. And you'll see that in the tutorial. So rather than try to have it swing like if it were a key, I just went ahead and attached it. And having it over to the side made me think that it was a swinging key, that it wasn't, you know, directly in the center or off to the side. So I put it at an angle to get the effect of, say, a swinging key on my tag. And this is my first tag. I just used some red satin ribbon from Walmart. It's 5/8 inch. Glued it down, and that was it for the first tag, and I'll be right back with the next. For my second tag, I used the Santa key. I inked everything up. I tried to make him look vintage, and I used a tea-dye Distress ink on his beard, and just, I mean, I left some white in the center, but I inked a lot around the edges, so you can see a huge difference. It's the same white for his beard that the hat is, or that's on the candy here, but I used a lot more ink on it. So I loved how I thought it just kind of blended and looked really beautiful. It just seemed like it matched this background paper perfect. And this is my 110-pound Recollection cardstock. This was a piece that I had in my stash. I'm not sure where it's from. I don't even remember having it, but it's not as thick as the 110-pound, but I really liked the color and the way it seemed to mesh with the beard and mustache, so I went ahead and used it for my background. And then I just used the 5/8 inch green satin ribbon from Walmart, a little pom-pom for its hat. Again, I put glitter gel on, or I used a gel pen with glitter for the little berries, and that is it. Did a little bit of white gel work on it, and called it done. Give me 1 sec and I'll be back with the third and final tag in this set. Alright, this is the third and final tag in this set. I used this 1/2 inch ribbon from Hobby Lobby. I struggled with a little bit with the placement on this one because of the pom-pom on the hat. It was getting in the way and going under the bow and you couldn't see it, and I wanted it to be seen. So I ended up attaching this key at a longer, or at a different angle than I did the other ones. I used some Nuvo crystal drops here for the buttons, or the coal, excuse me. Did some gel work on his hat and on his little nose. Used my black glaze pen for his eyes. I chalked his cheeks. Inked everything up with my Tim Holtz Distress inks. And at the end of this video, I will attach the tutorial showing you how I put him together. And I hope that you like it. Again, I'll share the link in the description box for this set, as well as just the entire Cottage Cuts Scrap and Cottage store. So in case you're interested in getting anything, like I said, they've got a sale going on right now. I don't know if they're going to do something bigger over, you know, the Thanksgiving weekend and Black Friday and all of that, but I'm sure they probably will. So be sure to go check them out today. Alright, I'm going to start by getting my white pieces out to ink, and I'm using the tumbled glass. I just want a light coat around this, not anything dark or, you know, bold. So my ink pad needs to be re-inked, so it works out really well that that's the kind of, you know, look I'm going for. And I'm just using some of the brushes that I have. I have sponges, but I knew I would get a softer look with the brushes, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just inking the other parts. I'm going to ink all my pieces first, and in between doing my pieces, I'm going to use just a napkin that I had here on my desk and brush off the ink, the excess ink that I have on my brush. You'll see me do it right here, and I'll just brush it off until it starts to, you know, until it's clear, and then I'll come in and use my next color. I have other brushes, but for some reason I just felt like I needed to use that little squatty round one, so that's what I'm doing. So I moved in here now, and I'm going to do all my red pieces with aged mahogany. I love this color for the Pure Poppy, I think it's paper tray ink. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's paper tray ink. That red paper that I got to use for this holiday season. I love the red. It's not necessarily a traditional, you know, real bright red, but it's just a beautiful red. So I'm finishing up on the last pieces here with the aged mahogany, and I'm going to clean off my brush again and get ready to, I think that's all the pieces that I have to ink, and I'm going to start getting the pieces ready. Now, you see that strip of paper that I have on my desk? I cut it too wide. I made the other one without any trouble and just wasn't paying attention to how wide I made that. So you're going to see me have to trim it down several times. Just make your piece skinnier. I was really hoping that this would come with a base piece, but it doesn't. So I'm just, you know, I'm using that strip as my base piece, and I'm going to layer all my pieces on top of that to keep everything together. And I mean, they will stick together if you're real careful, but I just felt like it would be more secure if I had a piece underneath to glue everything to. So here I'm just putting my little candy piece together, and I opted to go with the green and white on this one. And I put the hat together. What I'm trying to do is get my pieces together. I should have done all of them, and then I get excited and I start assembling the piece without having them all together. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. You know, I work it out and I get it done. But you'll see that I put the hat on, and then later, see right now the white piece is off again. I put the piece on backwards. And then when I pulled it off, or took it off because it was still kind of wet, it left a red mark where I had inked it. So I had to cut another one and go back in and re-ink it. I'm not, you know,
super efficient at this. I just, fly by the seat of my pants. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. But I absolutely love these dies and really wanted to share with you how to make them. Now, I put the bow on. I just was making mistake after mistake. I don't know. But I should have put the little circle piece on first and butted it up against and then put the bow over top, because, of course, they don't match up perfectly there because they're two circles. And right now, it's not a problem that I have the bigger piece, but it's going to be here in a second. Right there, because you can see that it's too wide and you can see it around the base piece of the key. So I just take my Tim Holtz paper snips and I trim it down. And I still end up having to trim it down later again. I don't know what I was thinking. Now, I did not ink that teeny tiny piece. I could have got out my sticky board and that would have made this a whole lot easier. And then I would have been able to ink over those tiny pieces, but I knew there was no way I could hold on to them without it, being a nightmare. So I'm just bringing out my silver piece here, which is the base of the key, or the part that goes in the door, and gluing the little red piece on and putting the tip on there. And again, having to trim it down because, I did it too wide. Really don't know what I was thinking. Because it's the same pieces, so I should have known that it was too wide. Now I'm getting my black glaze pen out here and getting it started so I can do the eyes. My pen is drying out, so I'm going to have to get a new one. And usually if your pen is real juicy, just a couple little taps with your pen, and you have filled in those spots for the eyes perfectly. But because my pen is drying out, that didn't work for me. And there I just chalked the cheeks real quick with some leftover chalk. I didn't even re-ink it. I'm going to do some white gel work on it. I don't like the little dashes I put on the nose, so I connect them. And that is it. The thing is done. Now I do add the holly and berries that come with it. I completely forgot to put them on. Oh, and I forgot I use Nuvo crystal drops for the little, I don't know if you want to call them buttons or if you want to call them lumps of coal, but so I use those for that. I really like the texture it adds to it, and it's the ebony black Nuvo crystal drops. And I'm going to show you the other one that I have finished here in a second. I'll pull it in. There's the little reindeer along with the die, and I absolutely love the Santa. So go definitely and check them out. I think you'll be real happy that you did, and she's got them on sale. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I'll do my best to answer them. Remember to practice your CPR, craft, pray, repeat. Thanks for visiting me today, and happy crafting. Love you all. Bye.